to hop on live at the start of the new year um, to help us get our businesses together as we go into 2023. So I'm doing something different today. I'm live on all the platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, over here, and LinkedIn. So I wanted to hop on. Many of you guys know, if you've been following me for the last year and a half, you know that I have been working with my client, Done Dissertation. And Dr. Ramon Goings, who is the founder of Done Dissertation, gets a lot of comments about, oh, I see you all the time. What are you doing? What's your strategy? Like, how are you doing what you're doing? Because he appears to be everywhere, right? He is taking over the dissertation space. So, what I wanted to do today was talk about one strategy that you can implement that we use to double the revenue for the company. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am bombarded, and it might be because of the algorithm and the work that I do. And I've also taken coaching programs myself, but I am bombarded with ads from different online business coaches, and everybody and their mama got a way to do marketing, right? You can do a webinar, you cannot do a webinar. You can do a email funnel and not have to get on the phone for a 5-figure program. You can get on the phone. You can do video, you cannot do video. There's so many different ways. I mean, I've even tried like a whole YouTube ad funnel. There are so many different ways that you can market your business. And so I know for a lot of people who are starting online, or they've started doing work and they're looking to grow their business, it is very, very overwhelming with the amount of information that's out there. So what I wanted to do today was I wanted to share that one strategy that we have used for the business that has been consistent no matter what we add to the strategy. Like if we add in paid ads, if we add in, other opportunities that come, they all stem from this one strategy, right? Like everything grows from the one strategy that we perfected and that we implemented. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the beginning, let you know how I joined the team, how we got there, and the strategy that we implemented that helped the company experience the growth that it did within the first year. And we're still growing. Like this last year was a lot too. Like we're continuously growing because we're just perfecting the things that we're doing. So June of 2021, I was sitting down with Dr. Goings and I was just telling him, because here's the thing, he was already doing video, he was already going live, right? He had already had one-on-one clients. So he was doing 5 figures in the business amazingly well. And I remember one day I sat down, we were casually talking, and I was like, oh, do you know all the things that you could do with one video, right? You can do one video, and these are all the different pieces of content that you can create. And so he was like, well, you know what? You should help me with my social media strategy. I had never done that for anybody else before, right? I was coming out of working as a stylist. So the only thing I had done is coaching programs for my styling business at the time. I had never done that work for anybody else. So I said, sure, I'll come on, I'll help. So I jump in thinking the only thing I was going to be doing is social media strategy, right? And so I come in, do social media, but then I started digging deeper into things that were going on. Like, do we have email? Do we have, how are you doing your social media content? I started asking questions. I started peeking around, and I realized the one thing we didn't have is we didn't have the organic marketing strategy streamlined. It was emails were being collected, but they weren't being used. We were going live, but the content wasn't really being repurposed, right? So he was doing multiple things, but it wasn't a streamlined process that we had like a well-oiled machine going on in the business. So when I joined the team and I discovered that, I said, hey, wait a minute, like we gotta streamline everything. There was a missed opportunity, right? If you were collecting emails, if you're collecting phone numbers, if you're showing up live, but you're not doing anything with that content and with that information, you are missing an opportunity to pour into the audience that you're building and to attract new clientele. So once I came in, I had that conversation. We decided to say, we're not just doing social media strategy, right? We're really pulling back the layers. We're taking a bigger picture, and we're actually putting a organic strategy in place. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do organic. It takes too long. Just let me do paid ads. The thing about organic, it is a longer game. I like to say it's a longer game, right? You're going to have to work longer at that. But the benefit of an organic strategy, which means you are not paying ads to get people to your website, your landing page, you're building brand awareness and you're building a community of people that trust you, know you, and will reach out to you when they're ready. I always say it takes people up to a year to make a buying decision. And we have witnessed that in the business. We've had people that have downloaded every freebie, that hop on every live, that are in the DMs, that have had sales calls with the company. You know, right? They have sales calls with the team. They don't make a decision then, but then they come back a year later and they're like, you know what? I'm ready to get the help that I need. So the thing about organic is that it is a natural way to get brand visibility, to generate leads. You're getting as much eyes and traffic on your website, on your content, on your landing pages as possible without having to use ads. Now, I will say this. At some point, we incorporate ads into the business, right? After a while, you will incorporate them. But what I think a lot of people are missing is that they're going straight to running ads and they haven't built the audience to really maximize using those ads when you want to use them. And so that's something you want to think about. You need to create an organic marketing strategy. And I know a lot of people want to start online businesses this year. Maybe you're looking to grow your online business and you've just been posting and you've just been doing a video here and there and you're just, you're just posting something and hoping that it sticks. Send out an email when you want someone to buy something and hoping that they purchase, but there is no strategy. The thing about organic marketing is that you need to have a strategy. You have to be intentional with what it is that you're doing, right? There's intention behind everything. There's a reason why we post the content that we post at the time that we post it. Content that gets posted in January gets posted in January for a reason. So everything is about intention and strategy. So the first thing that we did, I'm going to walk you guys through the 5 areas that we covered to really hone in on the strategy, to really streamline it, to see those that double revenue that we saw within the year after I joined the company. The first thing is we niched down. So the thing about done dissertation is we knew who the target audience is. The target audience was identified when I got there, right? But the problem that we were noticing was that we were getting a lot of unqualified leads. People that, we have application process at the company. So people were submitting applications that didn't have the writing sample or wasn't that great, or the quality of the clientele that was filling out the application and applying had declined. And so if you notice you're no longer attracting quality leads, or you're not attracting quality leads at all, you want to think about who your target audience is, and you want to think about your messaging. So one of the things I had us do was said, okay, look at everybody that we worked with, so far. Because I think Ramon had been doing one-on-one clients for a while. I said, what's the commonality, right? You want to look at those clients. What is the commonality that can help us niche down even more? And when we did that, we identified another layer that we could go. So we were talking to a specific doctoral student, which helped increase our quality of leads, which helped increase the leads. And of course, the coaching program could be designed and we could add things to that coaching program to really speak to those clients, because we were able to niche down anymore. So if you find that, you have clientele and the quality of your leads isn't really what you were hoping for, you want to look at your messaging and you want to see if you can go down another layer. And this is something that you actually want to do every couple years. So we did that in 2021. Who we targeted in 2021 as doctoral students is not who we target now. Like our niche, the clientele has changed based on the clients that have come in, based on the clients that we work with, and your clients need change, right? And so that's just the nature of the business. Your client needs may change, who you target may change. You may get a more sophisticated client, and then your messaging has to change there too. So you always want to take a look at, like, who am I talking to? Who is my target? And always assess if that is changing, or if you need to niche down more or niche differently to meet your client where they are and to attract the needs that you're looking for. So after we did that, the second thing I did was we created an email marketing strategy, because there wasn't one. If I'm being completely honest, there was no strategy. So the problem was the company was collecting emails. People would buy the book, get their email address to send, confirmation. People would download the lead magnet, you get their email information, great. But that was it. Like, nothing was happening with email. And that is a very missed opportunity. If you all saw any of my videos, but previous videos, you know that I'm all about growing your list off of social media platforms. Social media is changing all the time. So you need to be able to speak to your audience outside of these platforms, right? So there was a missed opportunity with the emails. Like, I think at the time, company had over 100 emails that were not being utilized. And so I said, hey, we got to get all these emails on one platform, and we need to start communicating with the audience, because it's one thing to use organic marketing to build your audience, but the Understation had already built an audience, and there was a small audience there that we were not speaking to, right? And you guys know, if you've been following my videos too, I'm all about emailing value. Don't just ask for the sale. So what we did was, we got all those emails and we started emailing the list like, hey, let's give them some valuable information that they can use, right? These are students, these are doc students that are going through a very stressful time. They need to hear a word, they need something to get them through the week. And so what we started doing was, we started emailing them every week, giving them value that could help them through their journey. And it helps the company stay top of mind when they're ready to make a buying decision. Because as I said before, it could take someone up to a year to make a decision. And so having an email strategy in place, they knew when they were going to hear from us every week, same time, same day. They knew majority of the emails were going to be value, right? We would start sending emails every week, just giving them information, ways to think about things, tips that they could use as they're going through their journey, notifying them when we were going live, the company was going live, to provide information, all of those things. So if you don't have an email strategy, you need to have one. That is a great way to communicate with your audience, because you don't want to have to rely solely on social media to make a sale. Some people do. I ain't knocking it. But if your business is solely based on social media, what happens when if social media goes down? What happens when Instagram doesn't work for a week, or TikTok, they decide to ban TikTok? Then what are you going to do, right? You always need to be able to communicate with the audience that you built and you are building outside of that platform. So that's the thing that we did. Related to email, the third thing that we did was, we had a lead magnet, right? And so when we looked at our niche, and once we niched down, we realized there was an opportunity to create a second lead magnet that spoke specifically to that audience. And so what you want to do is create a lead magnet. And the lead magnet, here's the thing. The lead magnet can be multiple things. It can be a checklist. It can be a ebook, a free ebook. It can be a free guide. It can be a quiz. There are so many different ways to create a free download or a way for someone to get on your list. You can do free webinars. Those are lead magnets too, right? There are so many different ways that you can get people on your list, but the purpose of the lead magnet is to collect emails. And so we created a lead magnet specifically for this new niche, which that one actually did extremely well at the time, because that was who we were speaking to, and that was a clientele that we were attracting. And so when we create that lead magnet, you post it everywhere. You post it on social media channels. You post it on, when Ramon would go live, he would post it on his live, ask people to sign up. You post it everywhere and you promote it. That is the purpose of creating a lead magnet, is to get people on your list and in your community. That was another missed opportunity. We had one. It was doing okay, but again, there was an opportunity to create one specifically for the audience that we were attracting, the audience that we were speaking to, and then turn that into a document that they could provide, again, they could find value in, right? And the thing about lead magnets, one thing I'm going to pivot when it comes to this too, is when you have a lead magnet, and I mentioned having social media, right? I mentioned, we posted on social media channels. When you're doing an organic strategy too, you also want to optimize your social media platform. So not only are we posting the lead magnet in our social media channels, and a lot of people do like the Linktree or any of those sites where you can have multiple links, but you want to also optimize your social media platform. So that means using your highlights, right? That means using stories to talk about things. And I could probably do a whole separate video on like how to optimize your social media platforms and how to use them effectively. Like different types of content do different things, right? And so we did that as well. And that's probably goes into my content strategy portion, but optimizing social media. So post a lead magnet there, talk about it in your videos. You got to tell people that you have it. Otherwise, they're not going to download it. So again, it's all about intention. The biggest piece of organic marketing, and I think this is the piece that overwhelms a lot of people, is content strategy. People think like, oh, I got to create content, right? Oh, it's so time consuming to create content. I don't have time to create content. Content is a lot. I know. But here's the thing about content. content doesn't just have to be video. I think the problem is because all of these social media platforms have moved to video, that is primary, right? I get it, it's video. It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. But because so many platforms have moved to video, you in your mind think that's the only content that you can create. But you can do blog posts, right? Email is considered content. It's not outwardly facing, like someone has to be on your email list to get that content. And when it comes to video, we're going to talk about how to create video without having to create extra work. When it comes to video, I highly suggest going live like I'm doing right now. One of the things that we did at Done Dissertation is Ramon was going live, but here's the thing about going live. There has to be a strategy around that too, right? And so, yes, you can go on live. You can talk about anything you want. But if you're someone that has a coaching program, or you're someone that has a product or really a service that you're only offering certain times of year, like let's say, oh, I open the doors for my coaching program on April and I open the doors in September. When you go live on video, which I recommend you do, there's a strategy to that too. There are certain topics that you should be talking about at certain times during those months between, let's say, January to April. If you're not launching until your program doesn't open until April, there are certain topics or certain categories you should be talking about in that time frame. And so even when you go live, there's strategy around that. But what's great about going live, one, it feels more personable, it feels more authentic. People can engage in conversation with you right in the middle of the chat. Like, there's nothing wrong with pre-recording videos. If you don't have time to go live, I say pre-record your videos too and post them. The point is you want to create video because that's where we are. Blog posts are great. I know someone on LinkedIn, they don't really like doing videos, so all of their posts are usually text posts. If you do that, you got to be consistent. If you're doing videos, you got to be consistent. Whatever content you're posting to promote your business, you need to be consistent. My pick is always doing video, and here's why. Video is easy to repurpose. One of the reasons why I was brought on the team for Done Dissertation is because I told Ramon how many pieces of content he can create with one video. With one video, he can create probably 8 to 10 short videos, which is what I do with him. For him, I cut up all his live videos, which is why everyone's like, oh, I see him everywhere. Yeah, those are all the lives that's the cheat code. Okay, I'm giving you all the cheat code. Those are all the lives that he's done. We've cut them up. So you can do short form video, which of course is big now because of TikTok and Reels. You can create carousel posts from that content. You can create emails from that content. You can create tweets from that content. You can create tweet posts from that content, and you can create blog posts. That's at least 6 pieces of content you can create from one video, which is why I'm really big on using video, because it allows you to create one piece of content and repurpose it multiple ways. So you're doing less work. It feels like you're doing less work. I know you have to take that one video, you have to cut it up, but you're not having to come up with exactly new topics every single time. Like this one video I'm doing right now, when I talk about this one strategy, I could cut up this video and probably do 8 to 10 videos talking about this one strategy. So if I talk about 5 strategies, that's at least 5 videos. If there are nuggets in between that, that's a short video that could be a reel or a TikTok. I could do a carousel post talking about these 5 strategies. I can do a blog post if I want to do a blog talking about it. Like there's so many things you can do with video, and we live in a digital world, right? Everybody expects you to show up. You have to show your face. That's why another place where we place videos is not just social media, but we also do YouTube, because YouTube really is a search engine. YouTube is a place that it's evergreen. You can post the content. You can post content today and somebody can find it 2 years from now. And if it's evergreen content, it will still be relevant. Unlike social media platforms, I can post a video today and in 3 weeks, you won't see it. It'll be farther down my feed. No one is scrolling that far back. You only really see what's posted in the last couple of days. But unlike that, YouTube gives you the opportunity to see stuff for years. Like you search something and be like, oh, this video is from a year or 2, 3 years ago. It's evergreen. It's a search engine essentially. So that's why I think video is so important. And as I mentioned, not posting just to post. Oh, other things that is included in content. So we have video, posting your video on YouTube Shorts. Another thing you can do is client testimonials is content. When you're offboarding clients from your programs, right? do an interview with them, ask to do a client testimonial, record it. That's video content that you don't have to create. That's another video that you can use on social media. You can turn that into a tweet post or a quote, post that on your website as well, right? You could do webinars. We have done webinars for the last year. That is, to me, is considered content. It's low ticket, and some people do webinars for free, but that is another way of creating content. We get content, we get testimonials from people who give us feedback about the webinar. Someone sent us a video about the webinar. We have emails about the, comments on social media and emails about the webinar. These are all opportunities to create content and part of your content strategy. But the point I'm trying to make is with all of this is that the foundation of organic is content strategy, but you want to work smarter, not harder. And this is the part that trips a lot of people up because they're like, oh, I don't want to have to post so much content, so I'm just not going to do anything. And that's not going to help you get new leads. That's not going to help increase your brand visibility or brand awareness if you just don't post anything. You're going to have to show up. Now, you can pick your cadence. Some people, I say just start off doing live once a week. If that's all you have the bandwidth for, that's a place to start. But it's better to do something instead of nothing. So when it comes to content this year, I recommend start going live. If it's too much to do live, record your video. You could sit down and batch record videos in a day or two. During the pandemic, that's what I did when I was styling. I would pick a day and I would record like 2 or 3 videos, post them on YouTube, cut up the videos, and that was content for me to post on my social media platforms. There is a way around it, but when it comes to content, it's all about being consistent and picking a cadence that works for you. Now, the thing about Done Dissertation is that they have brought me on as a consultant to do that work for them because that was another issue, right? Ramon had reached a point where in the business, we're doing so much, like it's too much labor intensive to also try to do that as well. So when you get to a point in your business where it's like, okay, I need to focus on my clients, I need to focus being in the business, and you have generated enough income that you can hire someone to do that, then I recommend hiring someone in the marketing space, a consultant to help you, or just a video editor to help you with those tasks. But when you're starting out, 1 video a week or batch record your content in post, but you got to create a cadence that will work for you, and you want to do that consistently. Okay? Thank you to everyone who has joined. Quick recap, we were talking about the one strategy that doubled my clients' revenue in the last year. I am Carrie. I work as a marketing consultant for my client Done Dissertation. So I'm just giving the rundown on the strategy we use and how you can help grow your business this year in 2023. So as I mentioned before, you want to niche down, especially if you have hit a ceiling or you feel like you've hit a capacity with your clients that you're no longer getting qualified leads. You may need to niche down another layer. You want to create an email marketing strategy. You want to use email, capitalize on using email to really nurture your list, build trust with your audience, let them get to know you. So when they are ready to make a buying decision, they are ready to do so. You want to create a lead magnet that speaks to your target audience. This can be a quiz, this can be a free download, this can be a checklist, something that will get your client on your email list, but something that also provides them value, at least a starting point on how they can learn something from you, get to know you, and also get to know about your services. And you just get them in your funnel. Develop a content strategy. When it comes to developing a content strategy, this means having and posting with intention. We're not just posting just to post. A lot of people do that. They post stuff and then they wonder why their stuff don't work. Why didn't anyone like this post? Why didn't anyone send me a DM? Why didn't anyone apply for my program? Because you're posting just to post and there's no strategy behind that. There has to be strategy and there has to be cadence. So it's about picking a cadence that works for you and your business, and especially if you're a solopreneur and you don't have the capacity to have support right now, and sticking to that cadence. This year, my word is consistency. Your word needs to be consistency. We're about being consistent and showing up. The fifth thing that we did, a part of the organic marketing strategy, is we updated the website. Now, when I joined the team, I had no plans on being a part of the conversation for a website, but it just also happened to be the time that Done Dissertation was going through a website revamp. And so I was brought on the conversation. And interestingly enough, Ramon and I had a conversation before this meeting, and I had told him everything I think needed to be on the website. Your website should work for you, not against you, okay? You want your website to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So when someone finds you, they have all the information that they need. So I worked with a web developer. I gave him a list of everything that I wanted on the website, what I wanted the homepage to look like. And of course, we also made sure that that the site was search engine optimized. So if someone's searching, specific keywords, Done Dissertation comes up. So some of the things you want to make sure, I'm not a web developer, and if you all need recommendations for web developers, I can give those to you. I can drop some in the chat. But I do know there are certain things that I think should be on your website because you want your website to work as a funnel. You want people to come to your site, learn about you, what you do, how you help them solve their problem, that you need social proof. All of these things need to be on the site. So by the time they reach out to you to schedule a call, you're not unfamiliar, right? So what you want to do, one, I know above the fold, we need to know what you do. I don't want to go to your website and have to search and try to figure out and decode what it is you do. At the top, when someone gets to that homepage, it needs to say what you do so they understand this person helps me do X, Y, and Z. Period. Number one. Number two, your lead magnet. Now we talked about posting a lead magnet on social media, promoting it with your content if you're doing video. It should be on your website and it needs to be on the home page. Someone shouldn't have to scroll to the about section or your services. You want to create an opportunity for people to get as much information from you as possible from your homepage. Client testimonials and social proof. Do you really do what you say you do, right? Anyone can say they help someone make $10,000 in 30 days or $100,000 in 90 days, right? Anybody can make those claims, but your website should have social proof so that we can see and hear from people that have worked with you, like, yes, you help them do what you say you help them do, right? Your services, of course. I think you need to have an overview of your services on the homepage just in case. Here's the thing, websites, people aren't going to spend all day on there. I learned this from developing my own sites. I use templates from working with other coaches and web developers. People are not going to spend 5-10 minutes on your site. It's very quick. So as much information as you can have on that homepage that they can see, the better. And of course, you want to make it easy for them to schedule a call with you. I know on the dissertation, I'll check the website and we got leads in there on the contact page every week. It's like, hey, I need help with my dissertation. Please reach out to me. How do I join the program? When's the next webinar? X, Y, Z, university partnerships, all of those things. So you want to make sure that you have an easy way for people to contact you. Now, here's the thing about organic marketing. Like I mentioned before, it is a long game. But if you are committed and consistent, this long game can lead to other things. Done Dissertation, Dr. Ramon Goings has multiple speaking engagements. He has been on multiple podcasts. He has attended some events where he's actually been a sponsor. They've worked on university partnerships. All of these things happen because he had a strategy that built brand awareness and visibility for his business, right? And then people are, oh, go see this guy. He's great. Go see this. They'll help you. The point is you need to be consistent. You need to have a cadence and you need to be committed to doing that. That is how you are going to increase your brand awareness and increase your visibility. That's how you're going to get more leads, which of course, your job is to convert them on those sales calls to get more revenue. So I hope you all found this helpful. Just to recap, these are the 5. This is the one strategy that helped my client double their revenue in 1 year. It is a organic marketing strategy. I personally believe that you need to have this down pat before you do anything else. People will tell you to run ads, which you can do. If you're in the online space, like coaching, consulting, you can do that. But I think your ads will be more valuable and have more impact once you've built an audience, just because of how ads work. You need to be able to have an audience to target. You need to retarget. It's a whole thing with ads, right? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You need to hire someone to help you with that. But I think for those to really take effect and to work, you really need to have a great organic marketing strategy that you can build off of. So you want to niche down, understand who you're talking to, understand your target audience, because none of the other stuff works. None of the email, the content, your website, your lead magnet, none of that stuff works if you don't know who you're talking to. That's just, it is what it is. And if you have already established your target audience, which Done Dissertation had when I worked with them, you may find yourself that you may need to go deeper. You may need to talk to a more sophisticated client. And your client may change over time, and that is okay. But you need to be aware of that change and make sure you implement and change your messaging accordingly to speak to that change. Like who we target now is a different audience than who we targeted when I joined in 2021. And that's fine. And our messaging has gotten more sophisticated. We've understand that client a lot more. The way we communicate to them is a little different and it resonates, especially at the end of this last year. Like December, people were coming out the woodworks, right? It resonates. So it's about understanding who that client is, taking note of that, being observant when those changes are happening. See what type of leads you're getting. Are you getting less qualified leads? Are you getting less leads? Are you getting more objections in a certain area? Take note of all those things when this is happening, which will help you with your niche. Step 2, email. Y'all, get off these platforms. Like stay on them, but get off of them. Make sure you are building an email list and make sure you are nurturing that email list, sending them value, explaining to them who you are so that you can build trust with them. I did a whole video on the type of content that you can send via emails because I know this whole content strategy thing, it's a lot. All of this stuff is about repurposing and streamlining your process. So it's like bam, bam, bam. It's a routine. The way we do stuff now, every month it's a routine for me. It's video, email, text messages. Like it is a routine because we have it down packed. So it's about that routine. Create that lead magnet based on your niche audience and promote it everywhere. Your lives, your YouTube channel, social media profile, your personal profile, LinkedIn page, everywhere on your website. 4 is really creating and being intentional about your content and creating a content strategy that will work for you. And another thing about content that I didn't mention, when it comes to your content strategy, when you're using social media, it is important to understand where your target audience is. I know these days it went from know where they are, just post there, to post everywhere, less content, more distribution. That works, but I also believe you need to understand where they are first, maximize that space, and then expand. So for us at Dunder Citation, what we thought was our primary actually switched the platforms. And so now we put a lot of effort into a different platform, but we still share the information everywhere because you recognize, depending on your target, they're going to be on multiple platforms. But it's important to understand which one is your primary so that you're always posting content there. So if it's Instagram, for instance, you want to make sure your videos are always formatted for a reel because that's your primary place of posting videos. You want to keep those things in mind and then expand. But when it comes to content, besides also knowing your platform, creating that content, creating a cadence, going live or recording video, posting at a cadence that makes sense for you, that you have the capacity for where you are in your business. Everybody can't hire a consultant to help them, and I understand that. So it's about understanding your cadence, understanding your capacity, and then working that capacity, being consistent. Our year for 2023 is to be consistent. I'm saying that to y'all and I'm saying that to myself. That is my challenge, to be consistent. And number 5 is your website. Now, not a lot of people, some people will say you don't need a website to get started. And that is very true. If you were to go live like this every week based on a specific strategy in terms of your topics for live, if you did that for 8, 9, 10 weeks, you could get someone on the phone and you could book a call with them. Easy. You could do that. But the point about having a website is at a certain point, people are going to look you up. A certain point, people are going to refer you. At a certain point, people are going to be like, hey, check this person out. And they're not going to always go to your social media to figure out who you are and what you do. So the purpose of the website is to optimize a website, create it in a way that it works as a funnel for you. It explains who you are, what you do. It has a lead magnet on there. You have social proof from your client testimonials. You have a list of your services, and you have an easy way for people to reach out to you. And that is the website. Do all of these things, and you could see growth in your business within a year. Now, of course, there's a strategy to all of those things. So if you have questions in YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, there is a link for you to submit marketing questions. If you are watching this on Instagram and you want to submit a marketing question, send me a DM and I will send you a link where you can submit questions. Because I know this was a lot for a lot of people, but I want to help y'all get right and tight in 2023. Okay, we want to get it all the way together. There's so many different strategies, so many different ways to do stuff everyone's talking about this year, and I've tried a lot of them. Some of them work, some of them do not. But what I have learned is that content, email, optimizing your website, those are great places to start in the foundation. If you are consistent in those things, you can expand to others. other things, and other opportunities will come to you. So it's about getting those things right. It's about perfecting those things, about being consistent in those spaces. And doing that will increase your brand visibility and the awareness that is brought to your brand, which means more leads, more referrals, more opportunities. Then you can turn on ads, then you can do, live events and webinars and all these other things. But it's about really getting your organic strategy first, building brand visibility and awareness, building trust, building an audience, and then you're able to do those other things. Okay? Do we have any questions for this evening regarding the organic strategy or marketing in general? Any questions? No? If you do, again, if you're on Instagram, go ahead and send me a DM and I'll send you the link where to submit questions. If you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, there is a link in the description where you can submit your questions. And if we don't have any questions this evening, I thank you all for tuning in, either watching live or on the replay. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good evening.